We are almost at the end of this first day. I've learned lots. I hope you've learned lots, and you've got some ideas, you've got some inspiration, you've got some people that you want to go and speak with. But to conclude, I'm going to invite Dennis to come up and give his reflections and reflections shared on behalf of the panel. Okay. I'll give you this, Dennis, because I think this one's playing out slightly. Yeah.
Is it? Well, thank you very much, everybody, especially for your endurance today, and a wonderful day as we look forward to a new adolescent mental health strategy and an action plan for its implementation. I was quite impressed with the day. There's a huge amount of capability and experience in this room, and our challenge will be to direct it towards our objectives. It was quite heartwarming this morning to listen to the presentation by Justin, and I must say he's a hyperthyme and has energy that's, I think, not 110 and not 220, but probably 550 triple phase. So I think that that's a wonderful thing. When I heard something about Justin and unleashing noise, unleashed the noise, I couldn't help but think it was the other Justin that we were talking about. But I will say Justin Scanny for Prime Minister. Congratulations. He did say some very poignant things, and my job here today is reflect on the day. I'll do that as quickly as I can, as much as our dear ears can endure. He did say, he talked about synergism, social media, student initiatives and their energy, schools, stigma, and a national approach to this. And I think that that was a great way to start. And I congratulate you, Justin, for what you said. There are some things I want to say, now that I got the mic and there's nobody standing up to tell me to shut up. I talked to a friend only recently, and this subject came up, and this person was an ex-guidance counselor, retired. And he said, yeah, he said, I'm aware of some piece of study that they had done the education side. It's soft. I don't know where it came from or whatever. He said in 1970, somebody did a survey of youth and asked them, who do you discuss your problems with? And gave them 3 alternatives. Parents, teachers, and friends. And in 1970, their answers were exactly that. Who do you trust enough to discuss your problems with? Parents were number 1, teachers were number 2, friends were number 3. And this person repeated this survey of students just recently, another 30 or 40 years later, and the same 3 questions, the same 3 people, and the answers were number 1, friends, number 2, teachers, number 3, parents. What have we done wrong? If this is an accurate review, then we have some problems. The other thing that Justin said this morning I thought was poignant is, where do they go? Where do they go? When they get acutely ill, we all know where they go. The comments that were made earlier, they go to emergency rooms, either willingly or unwillingly, and get into the system that way. Justin also said something about entry point, and entry point is a big thing. It's very singular now, and it is generally related to high-intensity, low-volume illness. We have to think about the other side of that, where I think the entry point has to be broader, multifactorial in some way, and look at, again, the high volume, low intensity, because I don't think we address it at all today. And it ultimately becomes, of course, high intensity. The network needs to be addressed, and I'll say a few words on that as we go through. There were some themes through the day. and I made note of the words that were being said by every presentation here, the 10-minuters and the 5-minuters and so on and so forth. Words that were repeated through the presentations today. Access. I heard it almost from every single presentation. Access. I heard connectivity. I heard awareness. I heard linkage. I heard accurate diagnosis. I heard therapy, early detection, integration, family approach. I heard also presentations that were more narrow and profound, and some that were broader and less profound. But inevitably, our challenge here today, and I challenge everybody here, that we have to have transformational change. And it'll come from you. It will not come from the panel. It will come from you. I urge you to think about that, how we can make this work with communication, collaboration. I heard other comments, school-based care. And one of my hats in life was to teach. And I have a master's degree in education, spent 10 years in it before I went in medicine. And the school has changed. It's changed its role in society, as somebody iterated here earlier today. Substance abuse, large component of all of this has to be addressed as well. Screening, e-mental health, a union of networks is what we're looking for here to make one network. And I think that that is going to be your challenge in the next 2 days, and the panel and myself, we throw that out to you. A few more notes. Social justice, we all talk about it, but I'm going to give you a few notes, a few numbers that may be quite dramatic. Social justice on a generational basis, what we spend. I'll just give you the health care, illness care I called it, numbers. From birth to 12 months, we spend on an average $7,000 per capita per infant, on an average. From 12 months until almost the age of 60, we spend $3,000 a year per capita on wellness, what we call wellness, what I call illness, in the system. At the age of 85, we spend almost $28,000 per year per capita. And there is a social justice issue on what we spend on the tail end of life versus our progeny who we are, I think, shortchanging. Do I have an answer? No, I don't. I do know, though, that if we keep a chronic care patient in a hospital for a year that has no place to go and lives in that hospital for a year, which very many of them do, about 30% of our hospital beds today in Canada are occupied by people who can be somewhere else. It costs about $400,000 to $500,000 a year to do that. It would cost $40,000 a year to keep them in their home. So we have some major issues with social justice that we should think about. We have rural-urban issues. We have indigenous issues that are quite profound and we need to address. The challenge I have for you at the end of the first day is to be very specific in how we put this network together. It has to be done right, and it has to be universal, it has to be comprehensive, and it has to be something that will work. And I will say to you also in closing that there's room in this network for all of you. And I want you to keep that in mind. The other message that I heard through several of the presentations today was the willingness with one group of people to work with another. And that's very much music to my ears here today, because that's what we want. Everybody in this room has something to offer, and we want you to offer it in one way or another. And we want to promote consensus, because it is consensus that will give us a direction and a focus to resolve the issue of a new adolescent mental health strategy for this country. I thank you for that, and I thank you for your endurance again. I think some of us have perspective because of our age, and when I look at Justin today, I said, my heavens, the canyon is there. But perspective, I'll finish by telling you my little ditty about perspective. When I started practicing medicine some 35 years ago, I had a lady that came in with her first pregnancy with eyes this big and really happy and elated that she was going to have a child. And in the questioning, generally, she would say, well, when will the baby move? And I used to say, well, somewhere around 17, 18 weeks, you'll feel a little flutter. By 19 weeks, you'll feel a bit of a kick, or 20 weeks. By and by, you'll kick your husband hard enough to wake him up at night. That was great. Now that I'm 35 years in the business and have a different perspective, just recently I had another lady come in, her first pregnancy again, the eyes huge, and husband is there now. 30 years wasn't there, wasn't allowed to be there. And the question would come up again, doctor, when will the baby move? And I would say, hopefully after graduation. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dennis, very much. And I think well done to everyone in the room. Give yourselves a round of applause for today. Come on, yeah, it's been a good day. Well done. Thank you ever so much for the energy and the effort that you've put in, and we hope we can carry that on into tomorrow. We start at 9 o'clock in here tomorrow, and we hope to see you as soon as possible. You've got some time to network together either here or outside or in front of the elevators or downstairs in the bar area, wherever you want to with others that you want to talk to. But then 6:30 is the reception, 7:30 dinner. Thank you very much and have a great evening.